Dear friends, today I want to share with you a transformative practice that has changed the lives of thousands of people, including my own. It is about the sacred words we must pronounce every time we touch money, those divine declarations that activate the law of multiplication in our lives. During years of studying metaphysical laws, I have understood that money is not simply paper or metal, but pure energy, a manifestation of the infinite abundance of the universe. Each bill, each coin we touch, is a golden opportunity to align our consciousness with the divine prosperity that is our birthright. I vividly remember the day when this revelation came to my consciousness. I was going through a period of financial difficulties, when anxiety and worry clouded my spiritual vision. It was then that infinite intelligence whispered in my ear a truth that would change my understanding forever. Florence, every time you touch money with fear or scarcity, you are blessing that energy with limitation. But when you touch it with gratitude and faith, you bless it with multiplication. In that moment of illumination, I understood that our words have the power to program the energy of money. Every time we handle cash, we are in direct communion with the flow of universal abundance. It is as if we were spiritual gardeners, planting seeds of prosperity with every declaration we make. Let me tell you about Margaret, a dear student who came to me completely desperate. Her husband had lost his job and debts were accumulating like storm clouds over their home. I taught her this sacred practice, and for 3 months, every time she touched money, she pronounced the words I am going to share with you. One day, she called me crying with joy. Her husband had not only found a better job, but they had received an unexpected inheritance from a distant aunt they didn't even know existed. Infinite intelligence had orchestrated a symphony of blessings. This is the first declaration I want you to engrave in your heart. I bless you, sacred money, and I recognize in you the infinite abundance of God. While you circulate through my hands, you multiply with divine love and return to me increased and blessed. These words are not simply sounds we emit, but decrees that activate the divine law of multiplication. The key is to understand that money is neutral, like a flowing river. Our consciousness determines whether that river brings blessings or limitations to our lives. When we touch money with reverence and gratitude, we are recognizing its divine nature. We are declaring that we are worthy recipients of infinite abundance. I have observed that many people have been conditioned to believe that money is the root of all evil. But I tell you with complete certainty, money is simply energy, and like all energy, it takes the form of our thoughts and words. If we touch it with guilt, it becomes a source of problems. If we touch it with love and gratitude, it becomes a multiplied blessing. I remember Charles, a businessman who had lost everything in the stock market. When he consulted me, his hands trembled every time he had to pay for something. I taught him to transform that moment of terror into an opportunity for blessing. Every time he paid a bill, he declared, I bless this exchange of divine energy. What I give returns to me multiplied by 7. In 6 months, he had not only recovered his losses, but had tripled his income. The second powerful declaration is, Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this symbol of your infinite abundance. May every dollar that passes through my hands be a seed of prosperity that blooms in the garden of my life. This declaration transforms the act of handling money into a living prayer, into direct communication with the source of all prosperity. I must emphasize that these words are not magic formulas, but keys that open the doors of our consciousness to the abundance that already exists. The universe is abundant by nature. Observe nature. Trees do not produce a single fruit, but hundreds. Flowers do not give one seed, but thousands. This is the law of multiplication operating in all creation. Let me share with you the story of Dorothy, a widow who lived on a very modest pension. I taught her this practice, and she began to bless every penny she touched. One day, while cleaning her attic, she found a painting she had inherited from her grandmother. It turned out to be a valuable work of art that sold for a sum that allowed her to live comfortably for the rest of her life. Infinite intelligence had been waiting for her to open her consciousness to the abundance she already possessed. The third declaration is, Dear money, you are my friend and spiritual ally. Together we serve the divine plan of prosperity for all. I release you with love so that you can circulate and multiply in the world, knowing that you return to me when it is perfect and right. This declaration is particularly powerful because it eliminates possessive attachment to money, allowing it to flow freely according to divine wisdom. Many people ask me if it is necessary to pronounce these words aloud, and I respond that what matters is the intention behind the words. You can whisper them, think them with intensity, or declare them with a firm voice. Infinite intelligence does not listen with human ears, but responds to the vibration of our heart. I have witnessed extraordinary transformations when people implement this practice with genuine faith. Roberto, a salesman who barely covered his basic expenses, began to bless every bill he received. In 3 months, he had doubled his commissions. But more importantly, he had transformed his relationship with money from fear to love, from scarcity to abundance. The fourth declaration is, For this financial blessing, I recognize the infinite goodness of God manifesting in my life. I accept this abundance with humility and gratitude, knowing that I am a perfect channel for divine prosperity. This declaration connects us with spiritual humility, reminding us that we are stewards of divine abundance, not its owners. I want you to understand that this practice is not superstition, but spiritual science. Every word we pronounce creates a vibration in the invisible universe. When we bless money with love and gratitude, we are aligning our vibrational frequency with infinite abundance. It is like tuning a radio to the correct station to receive the most beautiful music. Let me tell you about Elena, a single mother who worked 2 jobs to support her children. Every night, before sleeping, she blessed the money she had earned that day and declared its multiplication. 6 months later, an inspired idea led her to create a small business from home that allowed her to leave both jobs and have more time with her children. Infinite intelligence had responded to her faith with perfect opportunities. The fifth declaration is, I bless this money with the energy of unconditional love. May every transaction I make be an act of divine service, creating prosperity and joy for all involved. This declaration transforms every economic exchange into an act of universal love, elevating the vibration of all our transactions. It is crucial to understand that the multiplication of money does not always occur in obvious or immediate ways. Sometimes, abundance manifests as opportunities, as wisdom to make better financial decisions, as protection against losses, or as divine connections that open unexpected doors. Infinite intelligence knows infinite ways to bless us. I remember Patricia, a nurse who had been saving to buy a house for years. Every time she deposited money into her account, she blessed it with these words. One day, her sister offered to sell her the family home at a price well below market value. What had seemed like a coincidence was actually the perfect answer to her constant blessings. The sixth declaration is, Thank you, abundant universe, for this gift of prosperity. May this money be a blessing not only for me, but for all those whose lives it touches. I decree that it multiplies for the supreme good of all. This declaration elevates our petition beyond personal benefit, aligning us with universal good. I must warn you that when you begin this practice, it is possible that your rational mind will try to resist. Years of conditioning about scarcity and difficulty may create doubts. In those moments, remember that you are reprogramming thought patterns that have been operating for decades. Be patient and consistent with yourselves. Let me tell you about Thomas, an accountant who had handled money his entire professional life, but always from a perspective of limitation and worry. When he implemented these declarations, initially he felt strange, almost ridiculous. But he persisted because his financial situation was desperate. In 4 months, he had attracted 3 important new clients that completely transformed his professional practice. The 7th declaration is, "Blessed money, while you flow through my hands, I impregnate you with the energy of infinite gratitude. May every place where you circulate be blessed with abundance, and may you return to me multiplied according to divine will." This declaration recognizes that money continues to circulate after we release it, carrying our blessings to others. It is important to understand that this practice is not only for moments when we receive money, but also when we spend it. Every transaction is an opportunity for blessing. When we pay our bills, when we buy food, when we give tips, each of these acts can become a spiritual sowing of abundance. Maria, a retired teacher with fixed income, completely transformed her financial experience when she began to bless every payment she made. She declared, "I bless this transaction and decree that what I give returns to me multiplied." In 6 months, she had received a retroactive increase in her pension that she didn't expect, and her brother had given her a new car when hers broke down. The 8th declaration is, "I recognize in this money the tangible manifestation of God's love for me. I accept this abundance as evidence that I am worthy of all the blessings of the universe. May it multiply for the glory of infinite intelligence." This declaration works specifically with the feelings of unworthiness that so many of us have rooted in our subconscious. Many people have shared with me that at first it seemed strange to bless money, but gradually they began to experience a transformation in their relationship with abundance. The act of consciously blessing money connected them with gratitude, and gratitude is the most powerful magnet for attracting more blessings. Let me tell you about George, a small businessman who was on the brink of bankruptcy. Every morning, when opening his cash register, he blessed the money inside, even when it was very little. Every night, when closing, he thanked for every transaction of the day. His business not only was saved, but expanded to 3 locations in 2 years. The constant practice of blessing had transformed the energy of his company. The 9th declaration is, "Heavenly Father, this money is a symbol of your loving care for me. May every time I touch it, I remember your constant presence and your infinite provision. I bless this exchange of divine energy." This declaration connects us with the divine presence in every transaction, reminding us that we are never alone in our path to prosperity. It is fundamental to understand that the multiplication of money is only an external manifestation of a deeper internal transformation. When we consciously bless money, we are developing a consciousness of abundance that is reflected in all aspects of our lives. Abundance becomes our natural state of being. I remember Sarah, an artist who had lived in poverty for years, believing that creativity and prosperity were incompatible. When she began to bless every penny she earned with her art, declaring that she was worthy of abundance, not only did her sales increase, but she attracted patrons who supported her work, allowing her to dedicate herself completely to her passion. The 10th declaration is, "I bless this money with the energy of absolute faith. I decree that it multiplies not only in quantity, but in the capacity to create joy, security, and opportunities to serve the world." This declaration expands our vision beyond the numerical aspect of money, encompassing all the ways abundance can manifest. I want to emphasize that these declarations are not empty rituals, but powerful affirmations that reprogram our subconscious. Every time we pronounce them with sincerity, we are sending a clear signal to the universe about our willingness to receive abundance. We are declaring that we are worthy recipients of infinite prosperity. Michael's story is particularly inspiring. He was a war veteran who had lost a leg in combat and believed that his opportunities for prosperity had ended. When he implemented these declarations, something changed within him. He began to see possibilities where he had only seen limitations before. Eventually, he founded a nonprofit organization that helps other veterans, which not only gave him purpose, but also provided him with financial abundance. The 11th declaration is, Thank you, infinite intelligence, for using this money as a vehicle to demonstrate your love and care for me. May every bill be a reminder that I am sustained by universal abundance. This declaration cultivates an attitude of constant gratitude, which is the foundation of all true prosperity. It is important that you understand that the time it takes to see results varies for each person. Some experience immediate changes, while others require more time to transform deeply rooted thought patterns. The crucial thing is to maintain faith and consistency, knowing that spiritual laws are as reliable as physical laws. Let me tell you about Rebecca, an accountant who had managed others' finances for decades but had never prospered personally. When she began to implement these declarations, initially she didn't see dramatic changes. But she persisted for 8 months, and then began a series of events that seemed like coincidences. A client offered her a better paying position, she received an unexpected bonus, and her investment in stocks that she had forgotten had multiplied considerably. The 12th declaration is, Sacred money, you are divine energy manifested in physical form. I honor and bless you, knowing that you are an instrument of God's love in my life. May you multiply according to infinite wisdom. This declaration recognizes the sacred nature of money, elevating our relationship with it to a spiritual level. I must mention that this practice is not only for those who have little money, but also for those who already have abundance. The conscious blessing of money keeps prosperity channels open and ensures that abundance continues to flow. I have known millionaires who have lost everything by neglecting their spiritual relationship with money. David's story is a perfect example. He was a successful real estate agent who had accumulated considerable wealth but had lost gratitude and reverence for the abundance he had received. When markets changed, he lost most of his patrimony. It was then that he learned these declarations and began to bless every transaction, no matter how small. His recovery was remarkable, but more important was the peace and gratitude he found in the process. The 13th declaration is, I bless this monetary exchange with the energy of unconditional love. May every person involved in this transaction be blessed with abundance and prosperity. I decree that the good of one is the good of all. This declaration creates a field of blessing that extends beyond ourselves. I want you to understand that the multiplication of money doesn't always mean having more bills in the wallet. Sometimes it means finding extraordinary deals, receiving free services, or discovering opportunities that save us money. Infinite intelligence has infinite ways to manifest abundance in our lives. I remember Lisa, a family mother who began to bless every dollar she spent on groceries. She declared that this money would multiply in nutrition and health for her family. What happened was extraordinary. She began to find coupons constantly. Her neighbors shared vegetables from her garden, and her husband received food bonuses at work. Her food budget had stretched magically. The 14th declaration is, Thank you, abundant universe, for this gift of financial freedom. May this money be a tool to express my highest nature and serve the supreme good of all. This declaration connects money with our highest spiritual purpose. It is crucial to understand that these declarations work because they change our energetic vibration. When we bless money with love and gratitude, we are emitting a frequency that attracts more of the same. It is as if we were radio stations tuning into the frequency of abundance. James's story illustrates this principle perfectly. He was an engineer who had been unemployed for months and was spending his savings to survive. Every time he had to use money, he did so with anxiety and guilt. When he learned to bless every transaction, something changed in his energy. He began to project confidence instead of desperation. In 3 weeks, he had gotten a job better than the one he had lost. The 15th declaration is, I bless this money with the certainty that I am a perfect channel for divine abundance. May it flow to me and through me to create beauty, joy, and prosperity in the world. This declaration positions us as conduits of universal abundance, not as passive recipients. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates the power of these declarations. Some years ago, I was facing a very challenging financial situation. I had invested in a project that didn't give the expected results, and my resources were severely limited. It was then that I decided to implement these declarations with iron discipline. For 6 months, every time I touched money, I blessed it with love and gratitude. At the end of that period, I had not only recovered my investment through completely unexpected sources, but had learned invaluable lessons about the spiritual nature of abundance. The 16th declaration is, Heavenly Father, I recognize that this money is a manifestation of your infinite love for me. I accept this abundance with humility and multiply it through my gratitude and my faith. This declaration cultivates spiritual humility, reminding us that all abundance comes from the divine source. I must emphasize that the attitude with which we pronounce these declarations is crucial. They cannot be repeated mechanically like an empty mantra. They must arise from the heart, charged with genuine faith and sincere gratitude. Infinite intelligence responds to the authenticity of our feelings, not to the mechanical repetition of words. Amanda's story is a beautiful example of this. She was a nurse who had been reciting abundance affirmations for years without seeing results. When she learned to bless money with true gratitude and love, not just as a mental exercise, but as an authentic expression of her heart, her life was transformed. She received a scholarship to specialize in her favorite area, which not only improved her income but gave her professional satisfaction she had never experienced. The 17th declaration is, I bless this money with the energy of absolute confidence in divine provision. I decree that it multiplies not only for my benefit, but for the good of all those I can serve with this abundance. This declaration elevates our perspective beyond personal benefit toward universal service. I want you to understand that money is simply a form of energy, and like all energy, it responds to our thoughts and feelings. When we treat it with reverence and gratitude, it becomes a powerful ally in our spiritual growth. When we treat it with contempt or fear, it becomes a source of limitation and stress. I remember Kenneth, a young professional who had developed a very toxic relationship with money due to his childhood teachings about poverty being virtue. Every time he received a payment, he felt guilty. When he learned to bless money and see it as a tool of divine service, not only did his income increase, but he found peace in his heart. His work became an expression of love instead of a source of guilt. The 18th declaration is, Thank you, infinite intelligence, for this tangible symbol of your boundless abundance. May every time I touch it, I remember that I am heir to all the riches of the universe. This declaration connects us with our true identity as children of infinite abundance. It is important to mention that this practice is not only for cash money, but also for all forms of monetary exchange. When we write a check, when we use a credit card, when we make bank transfers, each of these actions can become an opportunity for blessing and multiplication. Helen's story is particularly inspiring. She was a widow who lived only on her Social Security and felt constantly anxious about money. When she learned to bless every transaction, even the smallest ones, her perspective changed completely. She began to see opportunities where she had only seen limitations before. She started a small baking business from her home that not only supplemented her income, but gave her a renewed purpose in life. The 19th declaration is, Blessed money, while you circulate through my hands, I impregnate you with the energy of joy and abundance. May every place you go be blessed with prosperity, and may you return to me multiplied by divine grace. This declaration creates a chain of blessings that extends beyond our immediate circle. I must remind you that patience is a crucial virtue in this process. Spiritual laws operate in perfect time, not necessarily in our preferred time. The seed planted in spring does not produce fruit immediately, but with proper care, it will inevitably bloom. In the same way, Our conscious blessings of money will plant seeds of abundance that will bloom in divine timing. The 20th and final declaration is, I bless this money with all my heart and soul, recognizing that it is a manifestation of God's infinite love. May it multiply for the glory of infinite intelligence and for the supreme good of all beings. This final declaration encapsulates all the previous ones in an act of universal love and gratitude. Dear friends, as we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this fundamental truth. You are perfect channels for the infinite abundance of the universe. Every time you touch money, remember that you are in direct contact with the energy of divine prosperity. Use it as an opportunity to bless, to thank, and to declare your faith in the abundance that is your birthright. The practice of blessing money is not superstition, but spiritual science. It is a way to align our consciousness with the universal laws of abundance. When we do it with genuine faith and sincere gratitude, we activate invisible forces that work for our highest good. Always remember that you are worthy of all the abundance the universe has to offer. Every blessing you pronounce over money is an affirmation of this sacred truth. May your lives be living testimonies to the transformative power of gratitude and faith. May abundance flow to you and through you to bless the entire world. Infinite intelligence loves you with perfect love and desires for you a life of abundance, joy, and service. Open your hearts to this truth and allow it to manifest in every aspect of your lives. The money you touch with love will return to you multiplied, because this is the divine design for all children of infinite abundance. May these words find fertile ground in your hearts and produce an abundant harvest of blessings in your lives. So be it, and so it is, by the power of the spoken word and the grace of infinite intelligence that always guides us toward our highest good.